Radio, I think we're live. Finally, I think we're live. Ah, sorry about that. I was just some kind of spinny going live thing, and it didn't actually go live. So, how are we feeling? Anyone in? So there's a couple of things like from that last video that I've done. I wanted to see. I've just watched a couple of things actually. It's just reminded me of a few things that I missed out on the whole Russia-Ukraine thing. Now, England, especially, which is where I'm from, has so much Russian money, and I mean masses and masses and masses of Russian money in this country. And when you hear about all these sanctions against like Abramovich from Chelsea and people of his stature, I just don't believe that it's just as clear as what they say it is. I just can't see it being as just as black and white as that. Right, sanctions, and it's got to take all their property and all their money and all their assets and stuff. I just don't believe it. I think there's a deal going on because we all know what the agenda is. We all know about the group of people that run most of this stuff that's going on. How everyone's in bed together. How there's the connections are so deep in society that it's impossible to just wipe them away. Tell them that they can't have their money, that they can't have their boats, they can't have their football teams, they can't have all this stuff. I just don't believe it. There's far too much money for, like, if you took all the Russian money out of the UK, like especially London, like just if in fact forget the UK, if you just took all the money out of London, the amount of property that's owned by oligarchs, let's say, is monstrous. Like massive building apartments. There's a nickname that London is just a massive laundrette. It's well known in the UK that London itself is just like laundrette capital of the world. They're quite happy when there's no war on and there's no stuff going on. They're quite happy to say, yeah, bring your cash, do what you want with it. There's obviously some serious backhanders going on, obviously, and there's probably some kind of clause that they'll agree with and say, if war ever breaks out and this and that, we'll say we'll do this. Like, has anyone actually seen any real stuff that's hurtful to any of these like Russians? Because I haven't. Chelsea Football Club, that's the big one that's going around. It's the big squirrel everyone's talking about. Oh my God, but it's not just Chelsea. Everton's got them. They've got Russian backing. I guess there's a lot of silent backers in the FA, the Football Association. 100%. Not everybody knows everything about whose money is where. I guess if you dig deep enough, well, then again, even if you dig deep enough, I'm pretty sure that it's through a company, through a shell company, through another shell company, and this and that. So to actually find out who actually has got money in there is basically impossible, unless if you're highly connected in that world of, financial stuff. I just don't see it as a thing that is going to affect anybody. I can't see Russians getting affected by it. The only people being affected by what's going on in this world right now with Ukraine and Russia are people all over the world, including Ukrainians, like just regular Ukrainians, regular Russians, all getting hammered, absolutely hammered, because a government wants to argue with another government and it's come to blows. And now other governments are like, don't fucking do this, don't do that. If you do this, we're going to do that. And you think that the causes, the effect that has on me, my friends, my family, their friends, their family, so on, so on, so on, is absolutely massive. Like, who the fuck wants to pay that much for fuel? 3 weeks ago, Literally 3 fucking weeks ago, maybe 4 weeks ago, petrol was 30% cheaper. And now we're all paying through the roof, ridiculous prices, £2 a litre in this country. Absolutely fucking nuts. Absolutely nuts. Regular people are the only people who pay when war starts. Everyone else makes money. You've got, imagine, just think about this. Raytheon, Halliburton, Northrop Grumman. Think about all these companies that make weapons and stuff. Why do you think they're so happy to give it to Ukraine? It's not like it's free. They'll say, "Oh yeah, no, we'll give you all these." They haven't told you how much it's cost, have they? They haven't told you how much Ukraine's going to get into debt of us giving them Javelin missiles and all this other stuff. You think it's awful. War makes a lot of money for a lot of people, just not us, just not the yous and me's. So listen, if you're in chat at the moment, if you're there, drop us a message in the sort of here. Let me know where you're from. Let me know what effects you're feeling from this, because that's why I've done this live. I want to speak to you guys. I want to speak to you and find out. Like, I want your opinions, your views, and stuff, because that's what I'm interested in. That's why I started this channel. I didn't start this channel to make fucking money and get thousands and millions of bloody subscribers. Well, I've got like 80 subscribers or something. I want real people here. I want people who've got, share your voice, share your thoughts. Let me know what you think of all this. Where's it going? What possibilities of this ending? What would you suggest would be a good way to? Because I don't believe they want to end this. I think it's just that, like I said in the last vid, crisis after crisis after crisis, and it's like it's too much. Like, the mental health of people is just going to go like, it's going to get crazy. The next few months, like, this is, I guess, going to drag on for, well, make money. They want to make as much as possible, and they want to, don't forget, it's not just the war that's making money. It's the ripple effect from what's happening over there. Everybody's feeling it. Boiling frogs. Mate, that's what it is. That whole thing. I assume you're talking about the story window of how you can slowly boil a frog and it doesn't know. Because that's literally what's happening to whole populations of whole fucking countries. It's God, I get mind blown 10 times a day from this stuff. It's just like crazy. Hey, Magic. So welcome, Window. Welcome, Magic. Good to see you, man. I think this is all part of the plan to get the. So what's that? Because right, okay, yeah. Mafia out of control with it since the 1100s. When we go back on the old goals, it'll never go back to the gold standards. I don't think they will allow it to go to the gold standard, because that's something that we can just get. That's something that you can go out and buy. You can go and fucking dig up if you're in the right place. You can go and get your own stuff for nothing. Well, not nothing. This is obviously going to cost you a bit to do to start mining and whatever. But I think it was permanently taken off the gold standard. Simply, probably for that reason. You can. I guess everyone's got a bit of gold somewhere. Yeah, and Federal Reserve's a fucking scam as well. So much, like, over the years, how much shit have you heard about that fucking printing machine? Come on, just print as much as you can. Oh, we need some more. That's all it is. The whole devaluation of currency, I guess, is, that's been going on for years. It's going on for years and years and years. And all these things, when you hear about, like, we have 30 trillion in debt and things like that, who's going to pay that back? Oh, you are. Oh God, I try my hardest not to get involved in any kind of, if I want to work for myself. I don't want to contribute in any possible way. Like, I've been lucky so far that all my life, I think I've had probably 3 jobs in my life, and they're all for about a year until I fucked off out of England, and just started DJing and producing music and releasing records and all that kind of stuff. But so I've just worked for myself because, you do what you want. No one to answer to. No one can tell you it's got to be like this. It's got to be like that. And yeah, if there's one thing I would say to everybody, especially if you're stuck in a job that you fucking absolutely detest, is the best way to fulfill, I guess, one of the biggest, what's the word I'm looking for? Rewarding things that you can do is just do it yourself. Work for yourself. Create something. Get creative in your mind and fucking go out there and make people want it. What we got? They're all in it on the politicians get bribed and blackmail, threatened. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, see, if you get the invitation. If you don't take the invitation, you get a mate. I think you should. And then if you don't take that, you're like, if you don't, yeah, I'm fully with you on their window, 100%. Magic. All countries are bankrupt. That's why they are bigging up the war and silencing the press like RT. Yeah, fully agree. Absolutely, fully, 100% agree. They don't want the other side of the narrative. Like, more, I don't know if you've noticed, but news has always been shit. Like, mainstream media has always been like kind of always pushing this thing. But have you ever seen it as ridiculous as it is now? Even during that, there was, they were talking about, possibilities of illnesses from the vaccine and there was all these little possibilities. They never go into it too much, but they would always, there'd be the opposition, and now there's no opposition at all. Everyone, especially to do with this, everyone's so pro fucking kick ass. Everybody's got to kick Putin's ass. And before anyone who's listening gets like, oh, he's a fucking pro-Russian, I ain't fucking pro anybody when it comes down to this, because I know they're all in the same bed. If you choose to support Putin, you're also supporting NATO. If you choose to support NATO, you're also supporting Putin. It's bullshit. The whole thing is bullshit. Everyone thinks there's like this whole left-right paradigm. I think that's one of the biggest problems people have got to get rid of, is the left-right paradigm doesn't exist. It's gone. It left a long time ago. And when you think, oh yeah, no, the left are better, the right are better, got to wake up to that. I know a lot of you are, but crumbs. It doesn't matter who gets in. The agenda is set and people must follow that direction. They've got to get to this goal, whatever this goal is. And the left have a slightly different way of getting there. And the right have a slightly different way of getting there. But at the end of the day, you're still headed to that point. And I think that is where most people, even massively, massively intelligent people fall for this. They all do. They all fall for it. This left-right paradigm is just non-existent. I learned this a long time ago, and it was quite depressing, to be honest. Because then I realized there really is no fucking hope. There's never, ever going to be someone who comes in, like I can even say Trump as well. There's never, ever going to be anybody who comes in and says, you know what, you lot fuck off. I'm going to run the country for my people. Because it's just not part of it. You are not allowed to become a prime minister or a president or whatever whatever label they give the leader of whatever country you're in. They would never, ever, ever let anybody in who isn't going to push for what they're looking for as an end goal. And because we don't know exactly what the end goal is, of how severe it is, you can't rule out Trump. You can't rule out like any of them, because yeah, things were a bit better. 100% things were cheaper, things were better when Trump was in. And I'm a Brit, so it's the whole. It felt good. Someone was fighting back a bit, telling people to piss off. Now, I still think the agenda continued. I don't think he stopped it dead. I could be wrong, and it could have been the principle of that he was trying. He might have. Oh, I don't know. It's such a difficult thing to think about. It's such an intrinsic game that you just can't tell who's a fucking player, who's half a player, and who's part of the slow or fast group. So look, some of the comments. Putin is protecting his own people who have been murdered in the Ukraine for the last 8 years, 100%. But the mainstream media won't talk about that because it's obviously not part of the narrative. And I think once mainstream media run with it, they can never go back and go, you know what, we were wrong. We apologize, because that's it. Game over. I don't think they will just run with the lie as long as they can, and as long as it takes for that lie to become true. They started the industry and small businesses so people don't produce in America, and they're consumers. So a paper dollar that takes your time. Yep, exactly that. Plus now everyone is distracted. The first page is yes, I saw that magic. That was going to be my next vid. I'm just trying to find a bit of info and have a look through the stuff. Yeah, it was something like 2,000. Yes, 1,700 types of injuries. Yeah, 100%. And I thought that was quite quickly swept under the rug, so no one could pay any. People have forgotten about that already. Most people don't even know that came out. Yeah, Magic. So I would really love to agree with that. Trump is bringing them down bit by bit, but doing it bit by bit, you've only got 4 years, and the swamp wasn't drained because I think he underestimated how deep and shitty it actually was. That he thought he could just go in and then realized there was like 70 layers of absolute cack underneath. Yeah, agreed, Magic. A lot of MSN is Murdoch, owns so much of the media. It's disturbing. Absolutely, from websites and companies and newspapers and whatever. He's got his hands in there. He's definitely massively involved in all that stuff. Yeah, window. I got a garden full, like especially this year. I'm funny enough, just before my dad went into hospital, I was just starting to dig up and start getting prepping and all this kind of stuff for shoving down potatoes and all sorts of I've got a whole stash of seeds that I've saved from all sorts of goodies. It won't feed me fully with my dad, but it will help. It will. I've staggered things this year because over the last few years we've just fucked around and grown loads of tomatoes and whatever. But this year I'm staggering, so I'm planting, a week and a half, 2 weeks apart, so we get something all the time, at least for a couple of months, But yeah, it's hard work. The weather in this country is not exactly great. What else we got? As long as they don't spread us like cockroaches, Ali will be. Yeah. Hey, do you know what? I still haven't done that video. I've got some cracking pictures of, because we live on a flight path over here that goes anything coming out of Europe, or quite a majority of stuff, especially stuff coming out of London to go to the US and all that kind of stuff. Fly directly over here, and I got some cracking pictures of just the shit gushing out of some of these planes. Is absolutely mental. Anyone in denial of that stuff is just like, I don't know. This, even they can say, oh, spraying of planes and stuff is all bullshit. Well, the government here released a 300-page document that was written by what looks like some kind of mad scientist that you just can't understand, because it's written like you've got to have like a PhD in some mad fucking subject to actually understand what they're fucking talking about. But it was called solar radiation management, because geoengineering is too conspiratorial. It's too like, ooh. So they come up with new names and new, ever noticed that it's always 3 fucking letters as well? UFOs have now changed to UAPs. It's always 3 letters. That's always bugged the shit out of me. Why is it 3 letters? Why are all the agencies 3 letters? Why a whole other thing, whole new wappy fucking rabbit hole to go down. But yeah, we'll forever look at the sky. Trails hang around for ages. Yeah, I've got video, like 100% of clear skies, and I took a picture about every 5 minutes or so, and it went from 1 trail to 5, 7, and then within about 25 minutes, absolutely covered, but all bars, if you know what I mean. Like the whole sky, just bars. And funny enough, doing music and production and stuff, I know about frequencies and how they affect stuff, and the whole, you can see frequencies. They're not invisible. They are a thing, and if you put some kind of matter in front of frequencies, you can tell. Look at waves, water. If the water was gone, you wouldn't see them, but the water's there. You can see waves happening, and they're a regular, frequency. Well, natural frequencies. Yeah, look at earthquakes, all sorts of stuff. But you can also man-make frequencies. Obviously, I do. Yeah, see, I'd agree, Magic. This whole, let's really confuse the shit out of everyone. Okay, we'll get into this for a few minutes, because I find this is like one of my favorite subjects. So, if you, or in general, people think that there is nothing out there, like zero, we are the only thing. One, I think that's a bit arrogant, because I think it was Jodie Foster who said it in Contact, was it? If there's nothing out there, it's a hell of an amount of wasted space. 2, we only know, like, imagine the size of this Earth and only knowing an inch of it. That's probably what we know about the universe. Yeah, exactly, mate. They can do what they want. They can do exactly what they want. Cover it up. No one can see anything. It's mental. It's absolutely mental. But blah blah blah. What we got? There's also a thing about Horizon, on the horizon, Planet X. Yeah, Nibiru. Yeah, see, the trouble is with how fucking messed up shit is, and how much misinformation, and how much, it's really hard to figure out what is, what's real and what's not. It's there's such a jumble of shit out there now, and I assume purposely misleading stuff, obviously. That you've now got to be careful what you actually believe. As much as, don't believe anything that you're told. Believe very, very little of what you hear, and believe, I don't know, it used to be half, but I would say like 10% of what you see now. and then the whole, 50% of what you believe, think about it. Just never ever shut down and go, this is true. Always have that. Might be. Because it becomes religious otherwise. It becomes like a religion where you will not accept anything else. What gets me is a lot of people say that they're open-minded, and then you talk to them about something, and within a few seconds they're like, no, fucking, it's this. Nothing is definite. We don't even know what fucking reality is, for fuck's sake. We don't actually really know what it is. We don't know if this is, there's all sorts of theories out there. One of my favorite ones that I absolutely adore is the Thomas Campbell theory of the simulation theory. But then that is just mental, because you can only think about it in here. And when I say mental, I don't mean mental in the sense that like you're a fucking lunatic. I'm talking about it's the only bit of reality that's actually in here. There's nothing out there to prove it. You can't, even if someone shows you something that can prove it, you can think, well, is it real? Is it something that's just someone spawned up to make it look like it's real? Is it I was trying to think of something the other day. There are all these things like UFOs, like ghosts, like, I don't know, spirits, religion, all these non-tangible things that people think of and people see and people whatever. They could be, if we're talking about simulation theory, they could be just things that they're putting in to make you just have that thought that this isn't just it. It's not just this. What you see is not just what you get, So yeah, listen. So tell me, I'm trying to think if to go. I'm trying to think if to go back to what we were just talking about. So listen, there's 7 of you in here, and I fucking adore all of you. And I'm just going to say cheers. I'm having a bit of a glass of wine tonight because my dad's not here. He's in hospital, and I want to just raise a glass to him. So this is the second glass I'm raising to him, I must say. But listen, cheers to all of you. I really appreciate you. It's always good to have a little chat. It's what I needed today. Even though I did a vid, I thought, you know what, I want to go live. I want to have a chat with you lot because I enjoy it. I really fucking enjoy it. And for me, it's priceless. It's a real, especially now, because otherwise I'd be talking about this with him and he'd be talking about this with me. And, we have these conversations quite a lot. But it's nice to get you guys in and literally, just chat and get your opinions, get your thoughts. You're coming up with stuff that I don't know, all this kind of stuff. So we all learn, can't stop learning. Knowledge is king, and you've got to get as much of it as possible because there's an infinite amount of it out there. And, so cheers. Appreciate it. Wow. Oh, red wine. Lovely. So what else is going on? I'm trying to think of what else has been cracking off apart from this massive crackdown on crypto. Fucking hell. What's going on there? Any of you guys into crypto? Any of you got a little bit saved up from some years ago? Because that for me is like question everything. Absolutely everything. And then even when you get the answer, question that as well. Just keep questioning it. You're not got any crypto magic now? Mate. Got to get a little bit. Just get a little bit, get a wallet, put it on a little hard drive and just forget about it for 5-10 years. I shall guarantee you'll be a rich man. and you know what? I got people. I wish I did what I preach because I only have a little bit, but I lost a lot from being an absolute fucking dick and losing my wallet. And it even makes me sweat now because right now I should have about, I don't even want to fucking talk about it, but I should have absolutely fucking loads. and I don't. There is a chance I get it back though, because I've got a couple of people that I've said, look, you can have 20% if you can sort it out. There's a couple of crypto wizards out there that are, yeah, hold it, mate. Just keep holding, keep holding, keep holding. I got in 2014, and what did I buy? I think I got something like 5.7 Bitcoins, 2 Ethereum, and 10 Litecoin, I think. It's a long time since I actually saw the wallet. But I should be a fairly wealthy bloke at this very moment, and I'm not. But my positive thought is that I will get it one day, and it will help me for the rest of my life. Because even if I had it now, I wouldn't want to touch it, play with it, do anything with it, because I'm doing this, and I think that's part of it. I'd like to have a bit more cash than I do have at the moment. That would be fabulous, but it's not essential, you know. So yeah, I would just hold, mate. I would just absolutely stash it away. Yeah, window. Listen, that crypto will turn to fucking platinum, mate. Forget about gold and silver. You'll be very happy in a couple of more years. I said it to a couple of friends some years ago. I was like, just buy one Bitcoin. But a lot of them cashed out when it went to that first high of like 20 grand or whatever it was. A lot of them went, oh my God, because they got it for like $300-400. I got a mate who bought 100 when it was about $180, I think it was. And because he's fairly wealthy anyway, he has still got them. And yes, he's a very, very happy man at the moment. But yeah, I've got a feeling things are going to go. Like, I'm surprised it hasn't gone absolutely mental now. Like, if you look at the markets, we'll go off crypto in a minute. We'll talk about something else. But just the last little thing about it was that a lot of the Russians, when I was in Asia, a lot of the Russians had, this was like really early days, really, really early days. Even the people I speak to now, in fact, it's more the people I speak to now who are there, who got in it about 2013, 2014. And a lot of Russians bought fucking shitloads of it, and they are absolutely loaded. And a few of them have just got incredible amounts. But what I was quite shocked at is, I don't know if it's happening, because there's been, if you look at the markets now, they're kind of like this. There's some big dips and some big rises and some big dips. And I guess some of these people who have had sanctions against them are using that as a means of getting money out of the country and getting it somewhere else, you know. Because don't forget, there's that US dollar tether, which, you know, you can get a credit card now and just fucking spend it away. Don't even have to have US dollars anymore. You can get a tethered dollar that does exactly the same. I've just applied for a credit card for, is it Crypto.com? I can't remember who it is. But I've just applied for a couple of them. But I have faith that I will get that back, and then that will be fun. So what else can we talk about? I was trying to think of other subjects earlier of what other stuff's actually going on. You guys know anything else that's going on that's not making the good old headlines? Oh, it's 4 people. Come on, where are you? Anything else that you've seen that's of interest, of like big squirrels anywhere? Because I'm sure there's a fair few about. They're just not putting it on the old mainstream because they don't want it. They want you to think that all your life now is consumed and absolutely just focused, tunnel vision on like war and fucking disaster and pulling heartstrings and all that kind of shit. Been melting down copper and make little spare bars, go up the price. Electric vehicles. Yeah, I would have thought so. That's quite a good one as well, mate, to be honest. Yeah, I was trying to think of what else there was. Do any of you guys follow Russell Brand? I know he's a bit of a, well, a lot of people have got quite this kind of picture drawn of him already that he's like a fucking ex-drug addict, blah, 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 blah. Some of the shit he's talking about, I'm so surprised he's still on fucking YouTube, to be honest, which makes me a little bit suspect. But some of the things he is talking about are absolutely bang on. And, you know, if he's part of it, if he's part of this group of people, you know, is one of the big outlets for seeing what the opposition could talk about. Because don't forget, best opposition is one that you control yourself. So I wonder if, you know, if I said, I guarantee this, if I said some of the things that he was talking about, there would be there'd be no "Oh look, it's a squirrel" channel. There wouldn't be. There'd be "Oh look, it's a squirrel" 2. That's what we. That's where we. In fact, we'd probably be. "Oh look, it's a squirrel" fucking 27 by now. But hey, Billy, hello, mate. Hope you're well. Hope things are good. But yeah, it's a fucked up world at the moment. So much going on. So much going on that's just getting swept under the carpet. And you know, like the crypto thing we just talked about. Yeah, Jimmy Dore, man, I'm surprised he's still on. I'm really, really surprised he's still on. Really grown on me, that channel lately. But again, this brings it up, like, for the people that are running the media, okay, because YouTube is media. It is at the moment. It's quite a big part of. Yeah, Hugo talks as well. John talks. There's a couple of really big ones that are doing really, really well. One of my favourite ones is Anything Goes with Paul Joseph Watson, which was guy used to be on one of fuck it, I'll say his name, Alex Jones. He was associated with him some years ago, like in the early days. Um, but yeah, Anything Goes on here is some of his are brilliant. Yeah, he gets a bit of humour in there, and he gets a bit of seriousness all kind of mixed up. So if you don't follow him, go and check out his channel at some point. Some really good stuff. Brilliant stuff. Yeah, apart from that, Billy, it's all good, isn't it, mate? Besides everything being fucking expensive and shit and fucking rubbish, everything's fine. Bad news about my pal, mate. He's had a massive stroke and he's in hospital at the moment. Hence why I'm on late and being able to shout in the house. You know, yeah, salty cracker, pretty good. But yeah, he's not in a good way at the moment. Fingers crossed. That's yeah, he pulls out of it. Got hit quite hard with this one. Some crazy, crazy hallucinations, and that's the thing with. Like, I really understand the difference now between. Well, I understood it a while ago, but this 2 years has really, really made me understand the difference between a heart attack and a stroke. Because I always thought that there was something to do with the heart, you know. And I realise now that stroke is like here, it's in the brain, and it can cause some. It was very funny, I have to tell you this, but so I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this little story because this is fucked up. Excuse my language, but it was like never experienced anything quite like it. So um, I woke up and found him on the floor underneath his bed, and this is an 89-year-old guy who really can't walk very well. God knows how the fuck he got under his bed, but he was under his bed. So my first view when I opened his door, went morning, was like, what the fuck? So I called ambulance, got in the ambulance, taking his vitals, usual stuff. Felt really car sick in the ambulance because they were driving like fucking, you know, it's proper. Um, then when we got to the hospital, like he sort of stabilized a bit. Like he wasn't like full, like destroyed, but he was absolutely confused, and he had. And I'm talking when I say visualizations, I mean as if anyone's ever done any like what they called things like LSD or fucking all that kind of stuff, the way he was talking, it was like he was drugged out of his mind. He was talking about a snowball fight in the ambulance, that there was people hanging onto the back of the ambulance. The truck behind the ambulance was too close. Yeah, it didn't have any glass doors. He said there was hundreds of kids acting like, when starlings. This got me completely. It made me laugh so hard. When starlings do that murmuration, and you see the flocks all doing this beautiful, like, he said the kids are doing that. Can you tell them to stop? The ambulance crew were brilliant. They were fucking absolutely amazing. But here's the story. This is where it gets a bit fucked up. When we got to the hospital, 6 hours we were waiting in the ambulance. 6 fucking hours. Now we only waited in the ambulance for 6 hours because all his vitals were stable, and he was laughing as well. He was thinking it was quite funny, the stuff he was seeing, because I kept saying, "Look, Dad, you're not seeing this stuff. It's just not real." And the ambulance crew told me, just play along with it, because if you keep telling him it's not real, his anxiety will go up and his vitals will change. And it was so interesting because he's such a creative person. Like, all his life, he's been a cartoonist, and has worked entirely all his life for himself. And it was just, some of the stuff was brilliant. Some of it's so creative. Like, he thought he was. Well, I guess this isn't creative. This is where, and towards the end of the time when we started to go, like, we were about 20 minutes away from actually going in, he started to tell me he wants to lie down. And of course, he was laying down already, but he thought he was stood up. So that kind of gives you a little, if you've never experienced someone with a stroke, like after the actual event, that's what happens. Massive confusion, massive visualizations, hallucinations, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, to be honest, Window, it wasn't the ambulance. She explained to me, because they were pissed off as well. She says, but it's happened a lot more in the last couple of years, and it's the fact that it's the other end of the line. It's people leaving hospital to make beds free. We had 22 ambulances in front of us, and because his vitals were so stable, he wasn't prioritized as like a massive emergency. Like, someone came in who'd just been in a massive car crash, huge cuts and fucking knocked out, all this kind of shit. So they got priority over us, which, fair enough, you know what I mean? He wasn't dying there. He wasn't getting worse. And it was just a case of sat there and just talk to him and listen to him, blabbing on about hummingbirds in the ambulance. And yeah, it was funny, but it was also quite distressing, because it was like, how bad is this going to get? And then it started to get really quite dark. Once we actually got out the ambulance and we started pushing the trolley down through the corridors and stuff, he kept doing his thing with his feet and his hands, and he was going like this. And it was he said something like shark teeth, and I was just like, fucking hell. I was like, that's when it started to get a bit like, fucking hell. Imagine seeing that. Imagine, like, really, really seeing that. Because I can imagine it was just as real as this. You know what I mean? So yeah, that was my little story for how that went down. And then I've been seeing for a couple of days, going about every day now, just to hang out with him for an hour, take him a couple of things to look at and listen to and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, to be honest, Billy, the system here is spooked. It really is. After, like, the government defunding and threatening them all, so many people left. Who just went, you know what, fuck off, I'm not doing this anymore. You're going to force us to do this. And a lot of people left. The ambulance crew were saying that how many shifts they're doing in comparison to what they were doing 4 years ago, completely different. You know, double shifting, all this kind of stuff. It's crazy, but that's the normal. That's the normal now. It's quite normal to have queues of fucking people waiting and whatever. Yeah, fooked, absolutely fooked. Cheers, guys. Appreciate you all being here. Nice to have a little bit of a release. As you can tell by that video I released earlier, I was a bit angry and a bit fucking. I was releasing a lot of inner rah after the last few days, you know. So apologies for the language. When I was listening to it, I was thinking, fucking hell, what? How many times you said the F word and God, but yeah. So, just got to crack on. Fingers crossed he'll be back on his feet, doing his thing. We can sit and watch Shameless and The Office and all that kind of shit. But yeah, so yeah, that's why I was kind of a bit out of character, I guess. Still feeling it a bit now, but is what it is. Just got to crack on, think positively about it, and yeah. So what else? What else has been going on where you are? Let me know. Tell me what's been going on. Anything mad that you've seen? Anything that's really like made you think, fucking hell. Yeah, same, Billy. Totally. It's funny. I do like no word of a lie. All this week, that's what I've been worried about. I've been thinking, fucking hell, if I don't do a video, these guys are going to be like, I have this little connection with you guys now, and it's, you know, it's good. It's really good. I feel I'll let you down if I don't do something. I just haven't been able to do something because I just fucking hard. When it happened 4 days ago, and it just drained me. Like I slept like an asshole for the last 2 days. It's as if the last 2 years of no sleep. It's just, but I got some, so I'm feeling good, but getting it for the wrong reasons. You know, I'd obviously prefer him here and to be able to just sleep a bit, fucking one eye open, sort of thing. You know. Winter ended last night. Well, that's nice. I wish you'd tell the UK weather to fucking winter to piss off. Yeah, yeah. It's funny. Like I was generally a little bit like, fucking hell, gotta get a video done. Gotta get one done. Just to get you guys fucking on here, and that's why I did a little live after that video today. I thought, you know what, I want to come out and just have a little chat with you boys. And again, you know, fucking hell, 50 minutes, and feels like I've just started. That's how good a connection that I feel with you lot, and it's much appreciated. So what else? I'm trying to think if I've seen anything else. I saw something about Canada actually. Bill 67 or something about the what was it? Oh, come on, recall. I think it was about I forget the stupid terminology they used for it, but it was to do with like genders and stuff teaching in school. Now, I don't know what your views are. Like, I'll tell you mine because I just ain't afraid to say anything anymore. It's fucking pointless. Um, why would you teach a fucking 4-year-old or a 5-year-old like anything as complicated as male and female? Why would you then go into a whole like fucking new this and binary and fucking identifying as a dog and all this stuff? I've just absolutely blows my fucking trumpet. That just like what the fuck? I forget the actual term, the actual name they use. Even the name they use for it is like just makes you want to fucking yeah, sick. Exactly that. Exactly that. I can't actually. I don't even want to remember what the fucking terminology was that they used because it's just mental. Like there's a fucking mental illness going around the world at the moment, and it's taken over the whole. I think it was what I said earlier. Why truths are lies and lies are truth. Adam and Steve, love it. I'm glad it's not just me then, because that to me is like what was the this is why I wanted to go and have a look at anything goes. Critical race theory. There you go. What the fucking hell is that? What the fuck is that? Critical race theory. Like I was when that first came up, I was like, race. How is like gender race? Like to start with. Also, why is it critical? And if it's a theory, doesn't that just mean it's a theory? Like it's not actually something. Yeah, turn it upside down. I think it's fucking upside down now. What, they're going to turn it back again and swap it round so it's still completely fucked. Women can't be defined anymore. Fucking hell. That's like a nuke for the brain, that is. That's like you ain't coming back from that. Once that's taken hold, which I think it has, anything goes did a fucking absolutely funniest. In fact, no, it's on. Okay, so there's anything goes, and then there's his actual channel, Paul Joseph Watson. If you go look at his, he did a thing called. You know, one sec, I'm just gonna find it real quick. Bum, 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 bum. One sec. It's what was it? Paul Joseph Watson. So right, it's called Modernity 7. Right, MODERNITY 7. Now that will make you laugh. Some of the stuff in there is absolutely hilarious. Yeah, it's serious. One of the clips that made me absolutely fucking laugh, like I had tears in my eyes, was it showed like I think it was either Russian or Iranian, or I can't actually remember, like their armed forces video, and it was all fucking like people running under barbed wire and you know, fucking all this kind of stuff, walking with massive bags and all this kind of stuff. And then it came to like the Western video, and it was a clip from Mardi Gras. And they all came dancing in like fucking fairies. It was ridiculous. Well, funny. But yeah, Modernity 7. Definitely worth queuing that up because that is just made me laugh. He's a great mind, Mr. Paul Joseph Watson. Really, really. Like I've listened to him for fairly long time, I would guess. Especially when he was working for Alex Jones and stuff in the early days. You know, I think he was their English correspondent or something. So he would do a lot of the financial stuff over here and whatever. Yeah, Magic's. Do you know the other thing, right? This is something I wanted to bring up. So history, right? I love like ancient history. I like archaeology and you know stuff like that. I'm a big fan of what's his face? Fucking hell, why can I never think of names? Graham Hancock and what's his face? The American guy. Fucking hell. I'll think of it in a minute. Anyway, I like all that kind of stuff. I like the alternative version of history. But the thing with history is, and my dad told me this. My dad taught me this a long time ago. He said history is only written by the winners, and the winner will always add a whole lot of shit to make it sound even better than actually what it was. And that stuck with me for a long time. And that's why a lot of history I just wasn't interested in, especially the war. War doesn't interest me. It's not something I get kicks out of. I fucking hate it. I hate what's going on at the moment, but it's all that people fucking talk about at the moment. But going back to that, history is so like one-sided. It's only the winning side that ends up writing it. And there's the other saying that I thought really stuck with me for a long time was history does not tell you who was right. It tells you who was left. And I think that's another good one. I think that's another quite a powerful one to, you know, if you kind of apply that to things, you can kind of see why certain stories are like they are. You know, and why they're kind of not exactly the story, if you know what I mean. Yeah, that's why we don't know a lot of stuff about Egypt and like how they fucking built them. You know, there's theories of how, or not how they built them, but why is there the same things in certain places around the world around the same sort of time and blah blah and you know. Exactly, Billy. Exactly. You know, they've Graham Hancock and Carlson. No, fucking, I nearly had his name then. It'll come. Like he's absolutely condemned. He's absolutely ruined when it comes to mainstream archaeology and stuff because they just don't want to go with it. They don't want to go with his story because then, let's see, that's the other thing. If you suddenly take something new that isn't the mainstream thing, they have to change. They have to change their whole paradigm of, and people are interested in that. People are interested in changing their paradigm. Look at what we're going through now. You know, like you think, even people who thought, you know, oh, mainstream media is full of shit, but suddenly they're okay about like what they're talking about with, oh, Russia bad, big country bad, small country good. They won't listen to any other shit. They won't listen to the fact that, you know, people laugh off the whole Nazi thing. Oh, there's no Nazis in. Oh, there's no Nazis in Ukraine. Fucking hell. Fucking hell. I can't imagine. I can't imagine being that fucking. I'm gonna be kind, docile. I guess I can't imagine being that slow to realise. Yeah, exactly. The history, the real history is hidden. I would fully agree with that. Um, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't fucking surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if there's a lot more than that. But then again, I don't even know if it's worth talking about even money because they own it all. So I don't think they kind of pay it themselves. I do know a lot of the main anchors and things are all ex like agency. They've got to be because they're so trained in pushing, you know, the brainwashing narrative. They're so good at it. That's the thing. If you watch, you know, if you just took a neutral view of say someone like I don't know, what's the CIA guy who works for CNN. That's hilarious. The guy was like fucking so amazed that he had the cycling bloke on there. He took all the drugs. Um, fucking hell, what's his name? Uh, yeah, oh, what the fish head? That's hilarious, isn't it? Absolutely hilarious. Um, yeah, see, I agree, Billy. Do you think they'll let it get to that though? Do you think they're going to push you to the edge and then go, no, everything's all right? Because I don't think they want what you've just said. I don't think they want like the people who don't want to get involved to get involved. I don't think that's good for them. What's that history that wasn't there to see? I can't believe it. That's all. Yeah, yeah. See, I don't think so, Billy. I don't think that's. I think that's kind of counterproductive. What I think they do though is that. Do you remember I was some videos back? I was talking about the push stop, push stop, push stop. So it's 2 forward, 1 back, 2 forward, 1 back, and eventually they'll get to. But like we've just seen that in the UK where, from 1 week it was like everybody's got to do this, everyone's got to do that. We've got to flatten the curve. We've got to this. We've got to that. You've got to wear masks. You can't do this. You can't travel without that. Blah blah. And then it suddenly went to blow it all out of the water. You can do what the fuck you want now, because they knew that there was just too many people who were like, you know what, this is fucking out of control. This is 2 years you've wasted of everybody's fucking lives. Everyone's skint. Everyone needs to go back to work, bury the head in the sand, and then push comes again. Magic, I think a lot of the religious books talk about it. Look at the Vimanas, was it in the Epic of Gilgamesh? They talked about the chariots of the gods coming down, raging fucking missiles of fire, and yeah, there's plenty of that. But in fact, Randall Carlson, there he is. So Graham Hancock and Randall Carlson. And one of the best ones I saw was him on with Joe Rogan, of all people. That was quite amazing. That was a real, like, super interesting 3 hours of just like, wow. Probably know a bit of it, but just how dedicated those two are to, talking about civilizations that were here well before us, that were the possibility of them being far beyond what we got to, but just got wiped out. Yeah, so what's that? The next germ they say will come from Urusha. I don't think they need one, mate, to be honest. Unless you're talking about like some crazy fucking. What's that thing I keep hearing about? That vacuum bomb. What the fuck? Like, what sort of fucking lunatic came up with that? Yeah, well, look at exactly. Giants, fucking giants, tons of them in most. Most of the books talk about. Well, Goliath is the mainstream one in it for most people. They talked about Nephilim, all that kind of stuff. There was it was Zachariah Stitchin. I know a lot of his stuff was very fantasticalized, if that's even a word. And I think he kind of lost his way a bit when it comes to actual stuff. I think a lot of what he said was good, but I think the whole, what's it called? The whole, trying to figure out how to put it kindly. Fucking intelligent bloke, absolutely amazingly intelligent guy. But I think he got so caught up in his own theory that it just kind of went a bit out of control. And I think that's where a lot of people lose their shit, is that you get so much of a following and so much of a, like, so many people start agreeing with you to the point where you could literally fucking just start adding little bits to it that you didn't find, but you say you did, and people go, fucking hell yeah, oh wow, oh yeah. So little bit disappointed with the end of his story. Magic, I tell you, there's some crackers. Some very, very interesting things. What gets me about those is the actual size of these things is like beyond comprehension. And you can clearly see these fucking things. You can see boxes, triangles, fucking spheres, and they are absolutely monstrous. Just to kind of give you a scale of what these things that people talk about and show you pictures of. They're like 24 times the size of the Earth. It's like, what the fuck? Like, absolutely nuts. You can't, fucking hell. Dead easy to go, nah. Because, like, your brain can't calculate something like that. Nah, I'm talking massive magic, like, absolutely massive. You look at some of the stereo A and stereo B, the two satellites that go around the sun. Some of the images that come from there are just fucking absolutely bionic, absolutely mind-blowingly massive. That you just think can't be, just can't be, because that means they're massively, massively bigger than the Earth. And you think, like, I watch Suspicious Observers. The guy does a lot of weather stuff, a lot of like earthquake predictions, stuff like that. There's also Dutch Synth. Is more on the earthquake side of stuff. He's always online, doing it pretty much every day, all day. But Suspicious Observers does some very, very interesting stuff about, like, how EMPs. If you want to know about that, like, the sun is a fucking interesting, absolutely massively interesting thing. I think I've followed him for about 5 or 6 years or so. Yeah, the weather channels are pretty good. But yeah, if you want a really in-depth, like, I don't know how like technically advanced, because it sometimes loses me because it's so fucking advanced what he's talking about. But just the first minute or two of his videos, I think they're only like 3-4 minutes long. But the first 2 minutes of his videos shows you the sun through like 5 different images, lots of different, angstroms and different fucking wavelengths and stuff like that. But yeah, he's got a very good way of predicting earthquakes with how the Earth has electrical energies and how they all group in a certain place, and yeah, so on and so on. But really, really quite technical, but really fucking interesting. After you listen to him for a while, you start to actually get a grip of what he's talking about. But yeah, cheers again, guys. Fucking great, great to have you here. Slowly getting a bit drunk. What else? What else? What else? What else? Um, going back to what we were talking about earlier about the what's it called? About, like, the weather manipulation and stuff. There was a couple of documentaries. I haven't really looked into them for quite a while, to be honest, because once I'm sort of convinced and found, like, yeah, fuck it, that's real, I kind of move on until something amazing comes out about it or whatever. But there was a couple of quite interesting documentaries that I watched some years ago. One was what are they called? What in the world are they spraying? And why in the world are they spraying? And they had some fantastic images, absolutely amazing. But again, I'm always a bit dubious now. I'm always, like, when I look back at some of the stuff I watch, I think, I don't know, fucking controlling that information, Because don't forget, you can put a half truth in something and then send you off into a fucking completely mad fucking world of, like, bullshit. And it's training yourself to know when it veers off at that little point there where it's like, and then bullshit, and bullshit. You know what I mean? You've got to really see. I don't know about that. I don't know if it's to dumb us down. I think it's literally, my thing is, I went more on the fact of that it gets in the ground, it gets in the vegetables, it gets into whatever, and it just makes you fucking ill. They've talked about cancer. Fucking hell, I can remember when I was a kid, cancer, 1 in 10 people will get cancer. Now it's 1 in 2. Soon everyone will fucking have cancer. Everyone's got. See, this is the thing. Once I looked into cancer, and I didn't realize this until probably only a couple of years ago. So, yes, they openly admitted 100%, but it's called solar radiation management. So if you put solar radiation management, House of Commons, or solar radiation management English government release papers, you can download a PDF of, like, you probably won't be able to read it unless you're, like I said before, just fucking absolutely scientifically clued up on jargon and bullshit fucking words that no one fucking understands. But they definitely released something. I've got it on a hard drive somewhere, but you can get that officially released from them. But yeah, I think it's more to do with how it's just slowly, it's like a slow destruction. I don't know. It's so fucked up. It's so, like, every subject is so fucked up when it comes to this stuff that sometimes when you even talk about it, you think you're fucking mental, because you're like, how can something like that be fucking true? Like, you can see the thing in front of you and be like, fuck's sake, how is that? But yeah, that's after me looking into that for some years. That's kind of where it led me. Just to, fucking big pharma making. You understand, like, things like war and illness, they're fucking huge business, absolutely massive, gigantic business. If not the biggest. Healthcare is the biggest business in the world. I can't think of anything that makes more money. That's guaranteed money. There's always going to be people getting ill, and if you can control that, then fucking hell. Yeah, exactly. They've got cures for fucking everything, but I think they'll wait until everyone's fucking sick, and then they'll go, "Oh fucking hell! Look what we've just made. Take this." Oh, but you've got to take it every hour for the next fucking 200 years. And it costs $70 fucking a shot. So exactly. And that's not a conspiracy. That's not, I assume you're not saying that in a way of like healthcare is government control. Governments obviously control healthcare because it's part of the government scheme. So, but yeah. So they have every opportunity to make money, and it's like I just thought something. It's like insider trading. It's kind of what it's like. Is if you're making someone ill a certain way, I'm just going to get this drug ready, and then once they're all ill, you go, "Voila, this will save you." And then you make another one, and oh, it didn't quite work. So try this one. It's a bit more expensive, but it'll work. Oh, it didn't quite work. Well, try this one. This one's really expensive, but it's got a 90% click rate. And then once they fix that, there's another one will come out. Oh, whole new thing, whole new species of thing we've never seen before. But luckily enough, we've got this. Exactly. Biggest fucking drug dealers in the world. Mate, the Colombian fucking cartels and the Mexican cartels look like fucking wombles, peanuts. But yeah, fucking, it's the world we live in, isn't it? It's just the way things are. If you're wondering why I keep looking over there, it's because I've got a fish tank over there, and all the fish are like fucking like that at the window because every time I look, they think I'm going to feed them. But listen, I think the next video I'm going to do, this is going to be quite funny. I think the next video I'll do is I'll just do audio of me, and I'll just for one video, and I'll show you what's in there, what's in there, what's down there, what's in there, and what's over there. And I'll just show you that kind of. I'll show you footage of shrimp and fish, and it's just something to fucking watch instead of my fucking ugly face. Yeah. Exactly. Can't go against the grain, you lose your job. End of story. But yeah, in fact, now you brought that up. How many of you saw the Pfizer documents? And the fact that they're not going to release the rest of them because they don't have enough staff, and it's going to take 75 fucking years. Not much to hide, though. It's just going to take that on because the people in the office are new, and we've only got a few people. Fucking hell, what an excuse. If I've heard a bullshit excuse in my life, that was it. Mate, I've got fucking hundreds of fish. I'm not joking. I literally have hundreds of fish. I've probably got 300 or 400 shrimp in there, 20 corridors spawning. This hasn't actually got too much in it, the little one, because I've just taken them all out and put them in this one, because that one's really like a bit bigger and more beautiful. But yeah, I'll show you all. I'll show you all on the next vid. I'll shove a little bit of footage in and edit a bit of different stuff on that. Yes, exactly, Billy. Fucking. I wonder how many scams they could run. I wonder how many scams they can actually run at the same time. Because I always thought, like, some of the arguments I've heard over the years is, but it's too easy, it's too intrinsic, and it's too difficult. How would they hide it? Right in front of you, fucking hell! They don't hide it. That's how I that was I wish I'd sort of said that 10 years ago when people went, fucking 9/11. That wasn't and all the fucking stuff that came with that, all the different shit. Like, what was it? 3 months later, there's still fucking 3,000-degree shit going on and whatever. People still think the narrative, and you think, like, I don't know if you guys remember the footage of the Audet brothers, the two French guys who were just hanging around doing a documentary on the fire department in New York. I don't know if you guys remember that. It's quite a famous documentary. It was like the first, when they actually saw the, and it was that footage of like the camera sweeping around and then bang. If you've not seen that, I think it was called the Audet brothers. Two French guys did a documentary hanging around just following the fire department. And it was amazing because it went from just following the fire department to fucking hell. And they just kicked into gear and fucking they all went in and whatever. Yeah. Well, Loose Change. Loose Change showed you all that stuff, a few years after it happened. Like, that was a fucking amazing documentary. Loose Change. If you've not seen that, fucking hell. You'll be like, yeah. See, right, yeah. So I'll put you onto another doc that I'm sure some of you have probably seen it, but there's a documentary called Unacknowledged by Dr. Stephen Greer, which is the UFO guy. If you've not seen that, because it's not just about UFOs, he talks about the compartmentalization of how people, he knew so much about what was going on that he then briefed the head of the CIA. He then briefed the president, stuff like that, and it kind of gives you that outside look of maybe the people we think know everything don't know fuck all about anything. You know what I mean? They don't actually know. A lot of these secret black projects and things like that are run outside of government. And I think it's purposely done that way. So if anything ever, that's, I forget what the term is, but say if I told you everything and then we had a fight, you'd be able to go and tell everybody everything. And I think it's purposely done like that. So there's no chance of that happening. So, for instance, things like the Clinton Foundation, who sent all that money to Haiti that didn't quite get there. like hundreds of millions, just vanished. 9/11, billions and billions gone. What did Rumsfeld say that the day after or a couple of days after? 7, I think it was, I can't remember, I'm sure it was trillion, but you might correct me. What has just gone missing and it's unaccounted and we don't know where it is. Well, I think it was, funding all these fucking things that you do. But I don't believe people like Bush, I don't think he had a clue. This is just my opinion. I don't think he had a fucking clue. That guy was not exactly the fucking sharpest tool in the box, was he? Really? You know? And I think telling him something like that, he'd be like, fucking, I knew about that. You know? Like he said, I saw the first one hit the building. Yeah, all right, George, cheers. You know what I mean? Thanks, George. Yeah, maybe he did. Maybe he thought it was fucking Die Hard 3 or something. I don't know. But yeah, that's a Loose Change if you've not seen it. Very good, really, really good. It was one of the early ones, and it runs down the whole day. It runs down the whole thing, with comparisons to what Hitler did with the Reichstag, to how certain things happened at airports that just let them sort of, it's a massively important documentary, I think, for when it comes down to that whole story. People trying to get a conversation from Bernie Sanders when it shut down without being hit by an airplane. Yep, 100%. Well, if you know a little bit more about that, go and look into what was his name? Larry. Oh, fucking hell, what was his name? The owner of Building 7, 1 and 2, I think it is. A lot of very interesting things. Larry, hold on, I shall find it. Owner of Building 7, of WTC 7. What was his name? Larry Silverstein, right? So he was on air. Now, I don't know if this clip is still available, but it's in that documentary, I think. Larry Silverstein on air the day after on CNN, okay, his words, there was such a loss of life that day. I don't know if it might not have been the day after. I think it was a little bit after, maybe a couple of months or so. But they said there was such a loss of life that day, we decided to pull the building. That's all I'll say about that. But that all brings the question of, so what? You rigged it up in a few hours, did you? You rigged it up between 9:30 in the morning American time to what time did it come down? Like 5 o'clock or something like that in the evening. Yeah, cheers, Larry. You fucking just gave the game away. There's a lot of games that, a lot of people say fucking stuff and swept under the carpet. But yeah, owner of Building 7 said that, and make of that of what you will. If I said that right, not sure. But yeah, that was pretty incredible. Even AJ was talking about that a few months before it happened, and asked everyone who was listening to his show to write a letter to the White House and say, he didn't exactly say, the perfect detail, but he did say they were thinking about doing it. Yeah, he mentioned the what was it, Operation? God, it's so long since I thought talked about Operation Northwoods, was it? Can't remember whether we're going to remote control planes into Cuba and blame it on whoever, whatever. cheers, Billy. If you're off, mate, good to see you. Glad you popped in. Yeah, Dark Journalist. I've watched a bit of stuff as well. Yeah. Yeah, Magic. See, Paperclip's another one. Fucking amazing documentary on that. I can't remember the name of it, but yeah. Werner von Braun. Just to tell you a little thing about him, a little factual thing, which you can fact check. He used to hang the 10 worst employees. That guy used to hang the 10 worst employees. And I think it was daily. I don't even think it was like a weekly thing or a monthly thing. It was, I'm pretty sure it was daily. And he became a super rocket scientist of NASA. Woohoo! There's plenty of them. Absolutely plenty of them. But yeah, if you, in fact, Magic, have you seen Unacknowledged? Because that is, like, if you want to watch something like after this, fucking go and watch that, mate, and you'll be like, yes. It might be stuff you already know, but at least it goes into some really good detail. And I find Stephen Greer, he was the guy who did the press club thing for where he got all the air traffic controllers, pilots, army generals, navy generals, all of them to swear under oath, or like they all came forward at the same time, and they had a massive what was it called, disclosure project, where they all came forward and they all told their stories. That's really another. It's the same bloke. I kind of trust him. Whether disclosure is a control thing by the powers that be, I won't say governments, because I don't believe governments have any kind of control over whatever. I think they're just messengers for whoever really is in charge. And whether he is or not, whether it is part of disclosure, because I think that's the next. Yeah, Unacknowledged is really good. I watched it a couple of times some years ago, and then I watched it again a week ago, and it amazed me again, because it's so easy to forget what you know because of how much fucking shit we have to deal with every fucking day. Dead easy to just, like, information goes in and then gone, and you remember little bits and pieces and whatever. But I always think when you find a good documentary, is to watch it a couple of times every couple of years, just to keep your thing going. I'll tell you what else I watched. No, sorry, that I haven't watched yet, but I've got it queued up for when I finish this. I'm going to go and sit and watch it. It was Zeitgeist. I don't know if you guys have seen that. That's fucking. It's got some pretty awful images in it, but it is a pretty fucking amazing. It's a pretty amazing documentary. It's the one bit I do remember from it was when New York was absolutely broke and Trump came in and helped them, because the banks didn't turn up with the bonds one day because they realized fucking never going to get this back. And apparently it shows Trump meeting them, and don't yeah, Zeitgeist is pretty good. Got some pretty hardcore images. In fact, if I don't know if you remember, but Unacknowledged, the first 2 minutes of it, it plays What a Wonderful World, the song, but the images are not so wonderful. Some pretty emotional images to kind of your brain to then watch whatever comes after that. But yeah, Zeitgeist was another good one. What are the fucking amazing ones, like life-changing ones that were just like, wow, fucking yes. Some of Mr. Jones's ones were pretty good. Like, if you can get past his, if you can get past that, because a lot of people don't listen to him because he fucking screams and shouts and fucking aliens are gonna fucking and he really kind of goes off on these fucking tangents of absolute fucking madness. If you can get past some of his documentaries were pretty good. I think I remember getting them off one of his websites years and years and years ago. So I've got no new ones. I think most of them were like 2000 to 2006 or something like that. But yeah, some fucking amazing stuff out there. That's the thing. The information you actually fucking need to realize what's going on is out there, but they're always on fucking sites that are being watched, or and the last thing anyone wants to fucking do is end up on some fucking list somewhere. I know I'm listed somewhere from what I used to do like years and years and years ago. Like I used to just go on InfoWars and be like, fuck this. But I had a very, very scary experience in Thailand. And that was, I was every fucking day looking at new stuff and this and that. And this is going to sound absolutely fucking unbelievable and probably all think it's going to be bullshit. But 2004, I think it was. I think it was 2004. I had to put this. So I'm sat on my computer, watching a documentary, whatever it was, and a clock came up on my. It was weird. It was like a little clock in the middle of the screen, and it said email something with a 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and it went to my email, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Like, I'd never ever seen that before. It said new email and a clock, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And it brought up my Gmail, like it just next pages, and it was already the email, like the newest email, which was the one I was looking at, and it had a watermark, and a clock came up in the middle of the screen again, but without anything except the 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And I panicked and was like, what the fuck's going on? And I swear on my life, there was a watermark, and what I can recall from it was Central In is what I saw. And it went off. It shut down, and that was it. I was like, what the fuck? So I pressed the button. It was a desktop. I pressed the button. Nothing. Like, fucking hell, change the fuse. Fucking thought something could, like, just unaware of what had actually just fucking happened to me. But to check the fuse, put new fuse in, still didn't work. What the fuck? I think the day after I said, I'm going to take it down to the shop, took it down to the shop. I gave it to the guy. I said, oh, I'm a fucking computer. He said, oh, what happened? I said, oh, an email came up. I didn't tell him too many details because I was fucking out. I was young then. And yeah, it was just fucking whatever. I didn't think much of it. I gave him the computer. And he said, leave it with me. I'll let you know. And he called me about 4 hours later and said, what the fuck have you done to this computer? And I was like, what do you mean? It's like, it's all fucking melted inside. It's like your processor is overclocked. Well, I didn't know what overclock meant back then. But apparently it's when like a processor's setting to a speed that it can spin at. Well, this went fucking mental, and it heated up and fucking melted shit in my computer. And I was like, what the fuck? He said he'd never seen anything like it before. And my paranoid mind at the time went to fucking hell. It's fucking, like, and I started to recall the email and was like, ooh, Central In. I thought, it can't be. And fucking it scared the life out of me. I tell you, it really, really did scare the life out of me. I wasn't doing anything fucking bad. I was just watching mad fucking 9/11 videos and just crazy stuff, things like Zeitgeist and whatever. But yeah, that happened, and that scared me. Made me stop looking at a lot of stuff for some time until I thought, fuck off. You know what I mean? That fucking scared me. And it was before things like that. Well, I guess it was before things like VPNs and whatever, so you just had to use your internet connection. But yeah, that was fucking mad. Absolutely nuts. Cheers, guys. Down to my last little bit. I'll say one more sip. Stephen Greer did a new video on Ukraine. I have not seen that. That is interesting. I might go look for that actually, because that sounds. I'd like to know what his thing is. In fact, going back to the Ukraine thing, when I think we talked about it on one of the vids where I said that if you arm your citizens and then they all go back to their apartments and then you bomb the apartments or fire things at them, they are then a militia. Now, I heard something the other day, so I'm not going to pay much attention to it, and I can't find much news on it because obviously anything that comes out about it is based on, not 100% proof. That some of they were setting up military areas in apartments. Again, I don't know if it's true. Hence why they were targeting certain apartments, but also some of the biolabs. So, it's not a new thing that people hide things in civilian areas for that reason. That, well, he's not going to fucking do it here, is he? Because fucking people living everywhere. Well, the world's a very sketchy place. People do sketchy shit, and that could be something, could be plausible. Not going to go with it too much, but it would make sense because a lot of this stuff is fairly precise. But we just got to try and keep on the ball because someone keeps moving the fucking ball, the goalposts, and all sorts. So we've got to really fucking focus and stop looking at the fucking squirrels. Well, listen, guys, I think I'm ready to just fucking go and collapse in a chair and have a smoke and that. It's been an absolute fucking pleasure again. Just good to have a rant, release that fucking about a week's worth of raw inside me, and you've helped me release some of it, which is great. So, Magic, Billy, Window, everybody who's tuned in tonight, and I really, 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 from my absolute heart, appreciate you. And I suppose we've just got to wait. This next few weeks is going to be fairly. It's like we're on that knife edge, I guess, and it's going to be a very decisive time. We'll have to see. We'll have to see what fucking prices do. Because to me, if prices and shit like that get any worse, fucking hell, how are regular people gonna cope? How is regular Joe gonna fucking put petrol in his car and buy food for his family and shit and whatever? It's gonna make the regular person absolutely fucked. And I think we'll leave it on that note. But listen, we're just gonna have to do a few more lives. I've got a feeling my pa's going to be in hospital for a little while, so I might do a few more. If anything really fucking nuts happens, just think, oh look, it's a squirrel. I'm going to go live and we'll talk about it and whatever. Fingers crossed, no one lets off anything fucking nuke. Please don't. Fucking absolute. Yeah, I'm not going to get into it because that's a whole new fucking thing, isn't it? It's a whole new, if something like that happened, what the fuck are we going to do? That's irreversible. That's not stuff. That's not something that you can take back. It's not just like, hey, it's going to knock an apartment block and we'll just build the apartment block back. This is like whole new level, whole 10 new levels of shit. But listen, let's call it there. Thank you very much again for coming in and spending an hour and 40 minutes with me. Fucking hell, I can't believe it's an hour and 40. That's mental. So listen, I'll leave this one up because it was quite an interesting talk. And if you see of anything or hear of anything, drop a comment down below and point me to a link or a story or whatever. And we'll go from there because that seems to be the way to go. We use YouTube as a little communication tool. This video might not even be up because of what we talked about. Who knows? But yeah, fuck them. But listen, take care of yourself, take care of your loved ones, and we shall be back. Have a good one.